Hello everyone, welcome to GitHub How Today. Today's projects include Prime Agent, a self-improving RLM agent for coding workflows and long-running autonomous tasks. Ladybird, a truly independent web browser built from scratch with its own engine. And LifeOS, an AI-powered live operating system that helps you move from your current state to your ideal state. Prime Agent is an open-source coding harness that treats your LLM like a programmable runtime instead of a chatbot. It is built around two ideas: Recursive Language Models, or RLMs, and the Continual Harness. Most agents force the model to work around fixed tool schemas and static prompts. Prime Agent flips this. The model gets a persistent IPython kernel as its only tool. It writes Python code to read files, run commands, and spawn subagents programmatically via await RLM. Each subagent is a full Prime Agent instance with its own kernel and session history. They run in parallel, send messages back, and persist even after the parent moves on. This architecture keeps the main model's context short while offloading work to sub-LLMs. The RLM delegates through the Python REPL, letting sub-agents hand over both tool outputs and long inputs without bloating the parent context. The continual harness layer is where it gets interesting. Prime Agent treats its own prompts, skills, memory, and sub-agent specs as mutable state. The /refine command reads the session trajectory and applies the smallest CRUD edit to improve the harness. Not a full rewrite, just evidence-backed tweaks. Bad refinements can be rolled back by ID. Visually, you get a TUI with an agent's view that lists running, idle, and inactive sessions across the full agent tree. A background daemon manages everything over a local socket, so you can detach without killing long-running work. Sessions are append-only JSON on disk, with compaction to manage context growth. On benchmarks, Prime Agent with Opus 5 hit 95.5% on ARC AGI 3, surpassing the reported human expert baseline. It also built Sega, Genesis, and Game Boy Color emulators from scratch on Emulator Bench, and writes GPU kernels on PMPP hard. REMP trained a 35B parameter FastAsk subagent on Prime Intellect Lab that beat Claude Opus 4.6 by 4% on spreadsheet retrieval while running 27% faster. Getting started is one line. Authenticate with /login or an API key, add an agent's MD for project context, and start prompting. The model handles the rest through code. The catch? No model has been trained specifically on this harness yet. The team believes co-training models with Prime Agent will unlock the real performance gains. But even today, it is a credible open alternative to Claude Code or Codex, especially for long-horizon autonomous tasks. Ladybird is a brand new browser engine built entirely from scratch, not a fork of Chromium, WebKit, or Gecko. The team behind it thinks the web is too important to have every major engine funded by Google's ad business. The project is run by a 501c3 nonprofit. Chris Wanstrath, the GitHub founder, co-founded it and pledged $1 million to get it started. No search deals, no crypto tokens, no data collection. Just donations from people and companies who want an independent browser. Architecture-wise, Ladybird uses a multi-process design. The browser process manages tabs. Each tab gets its own web content process for rendering, plus separate request server and image decoder processes. Everything is sandboxed. If one tab crashes, it doesn't take down your whole browser. The codebase started in C++ because it came from Serenity OS, but they're migrating to Rust. They already ported the JavaScript engine, about 25,000 lines, using AI agents like Claude Code and Codex as helpers. Zero test regressions. They also built their own typed language called Flap for the JavaScript interpreter's hot path. Recent progress is real. Private browsing, browser profiles, working web audio, geolocation. And they fixed complex sites like streets.gl for 3D WebGL maps and GitHub's code review pages. The compositor got faster too. They're targeting an alpha release in 2026 for Linux and Mac OS. Fair warning, it's not ready for daily use yet. Windows and mobile are future goals. But if you care about browser engine diversity, this is one of the most credible attempts in years. You can clone it and run it locally with a few commands. LifeOS calls itself an AI harness, not another chat wrapper. The idea is dead simple. AI is already great at doing things, but terrible at knowing what you actually want. LifeOS fixes the direction problem by capturing your goals, context, and definition of done, then feeding that to the model on every task. You install it with one curl command or paste the prompt into Claude Code. The key concept is intent engineering. The site shows a side-by-side. Give a model the same prompt with and without your intent on file. Without it, you get generic output and spend an hour steering it back. With LifeOS, it already knows your audience, your voice, and your stack. The prompt doesn't get longer. The system around it gets smarter. The algorithm is the engine. When you say, make the page faster, most tools start building. LifeOS first reverse engineers that into testable criteria. LCP under 1.2 seconds, layout shift below 0.05, bundle under 180 kilobytes. Then it climbs toward each one with real evidence. No should work, green check, or red X. The whole system is built around this current to ideal state loop. Name where you are, name where you want to be, close the gap. Memory is handled by Cortex. It doesn't just dump logs, it builds a typed knowledge graph. People, companies, ideas with links between them. So when you mention someone you talked about a month ago, the context is already there. 2 high-layer files load into every prompt automatically. There are 56 self-activating skills in categories from research to security. Each one ships workflows and deterministic tools. Under the hood, the architecture summary shows 15 pipeline subsystems, everything from the algorithm to pulse, bunker, and ledger. It's modular, versioned, and documented like an actual operating system. Pulse is the observability layer. It's a dashboard and menu bar app that shows system health. Green when jobs are healthy, yellow when something's lagging, red when a circuit breaker trips. It also handles voice notifications, so the system literally talks to you about what matters. The honest take? This isn't a casual install. It's a philosophy and a full system architecture. If you want a quick ChatGPT wrapper, this is overkill. But if you're already using Claude Code or Cursor daily and you want your AI to actually remember who you are and what you're building, LifeOS is the most serious attempt at that I've seen. That's all for today's show. See you tomorrow.